It's just so weird because I've known you for 10 years, and yesterday you texted me that you love classical guitar.
I love classical
guitar. I did not know that about you.
So cool.
So please gush about it.
Hi, my name is Gabe Azzie, and I'm the principal bassoonist of Symphony Nova Scotia. With me is my close friend and colleague, Tim Young, principal clarinet. Tim, they brought us back.
They brought us back.
Yeah, we weren't fired after the first time. How's it feel?
It's nice to be back. I'm excited to talk with you again about this program that we have coming up.
Yeah, it's a good program. A lot of fun. I'm looking forward to it. We're going to begin with Carlos Simon's Fate Now Conquers. We actually got to play this at Symphony Week.
We did?
Yeah.
What do you remember about it?
I remember it's very shoddy, very percussive, at least for the bassoon, and I mean the rest of the orchestra as well. But you can definitely hear some very clear references to Beethoven, specifically harmonies and moments from Beethoven's Seventh Symphony.
Yeah, and I also think it's not even just that. At least for my own part too, I was catching glimpses of like the Fourth and the Fifth Symphony as well. So as a music nerd, that was very exciting. But the other thing I remember too when we played it for Symphony Week is, because once in a while when we play something new, you and I, we check in with each other, we're like, so what do you think? And I remember after the first time we read it through, we both kind of like, yeah. And I think hopefully that comes across. It's a 5-minute car chase of a piece. The intensity doesn't let up.
No.
And that's kind of what you want for an overture. It just really wakes you up and you're like, okay, now I'm ready for the next thing.
Yeah, it definitely sets the audience up for the rest of the concert, gets them, okay, we're in here, we're going, we're off and running. So.
And after that, imagine writing a piece so awesome that towards the end of your life, you get raised to the nobility, and in the noble title they give you, they reference the most famous piece you ever wrote, and that was Rodrigo's Guitar Concerto.
Yeah, and this one is, you know what, I've never done a guitar concerto before, I've never played one.
Neither have I.
From a bassoonist perspective, studying the score a little bit, studying my part a little bit, I feel like a lot of my parts are very complementary to the guitar. Like you can hear as the guitar is playing, the bassoon doing its normal thing, like dum 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 dum, and
it's just 98% of your
98% of what I do, yeah. But like it fits so well within what the guitar is doing, and I just remember thinking, wow, I'm gonna have so much fun playing this piece.
But what about the music though? Like what do you feel when you listen to it? Because I was doing a little bit of reading on the piece, and he wrote it in 1939 when he was living in France, kind of living in exile away from Spain because the Spanish Civil War was kind of happening. And it just makes me think, in terms of how pleasant the outer movements are. They're so pleasant.
Yeah.
Makes me think about how he was probably reminiscing over the really great parts of his homeland. Like, you can tell there's so much love for his homeland channeled in those movements.
Yeah.
But I would say the second movement's probably the heart of the piece.
Yeah, I mean, the outer movements, the first and third, you can definitely hear the Spanish influences, Spanish dances, full of positivity almost. And in such contrast to the second movement, which, by the way, that English horn solo, I'm so looking forward to hearing that and being right behind it as it's going on. But that was, he experienced a really tragic, personal family experience, and I couldn't imagine going through that. And I think in this second movement, with the English horn solo, I mean, the listener can really feel the pain.
Yeah. And that's a big one. That's a really famous solo, and I didn't think I knew it.
I didn't know it before this.
No, but I was talking to our colleague Danielle about this.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh yeah, this like Rodrigo English horn is such a big deal. I was like, oh, I don't know it. And she's like, oh, trust me, you know it. Listen to it, you'll know it. I listened to it, I know it.
Yeah.
So she was right. And I think our audience will too. That solo is used so widely in pop culture, in movies, in TV.
Yeah.
Like if there's a scene of like particular emotional heft, chances are it might have been used in there. So I think the audience will definitely recognize that too.
So we go from one guitar concerto to the next guitar concerto, Chris Brubeck's Affinity Concerto for Guitar and Orchestra. And this one is kind of a little bit of a different vibe. It's a little more on the jazzy side. And I'll be honest, like listening to it, I was kind of jamming. I don't know what you think.
Right? Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's really cool. It's a really cool piece, and I think people will really like it. It wasn't written that long ago.
No, and yeah.
Chris Brubeck, son of Dave Brubeck,
Yeah.
the famous jazz musician of Blue Rondo and Take 5 fame.
Yeah.
He was writing it for this guitarist, Sharon Isbin.
Yep.
And what kind of connected the two of them is that they both have a background in a lot of different types of music. And I think it's certainly came across in the music. He was very excited to explore a lot of stuff. And in fact, he actually made sure to write it in the program notes that the word affinity refers to both of their affinities to this like big variety of styles, and he gets a chance to really do all that because he has the player to do it.
Yeah.
Just kind of seamlessly transitioning from one style to another and having it make sense, makes it really, really cool for like the geek inside of me, but also just in terms of for a listener, it's just kind of letting it take you to places.
Yeah. And of course, you're talking about he had the player to do it. I mean, I'm still looking forward to hearing Daniel play.
And after that, it all leads back to Beethoven.
Yes.
There's something symbolic about our lives as musicians, and it's like it all always comes back to Beethoven.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a hot take.
Okay, let's hear it.
Beethoven 2 is awesome.
That's a great hot take.
Well, I mean, let me defend myself. It's one of the least played Beethoven symphonies.
Yeah.
It's like so overshadowed by the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 9th, the 3rd.
It's like most of them.
Yeah. It's the kid that everybody forgets about, unfortunately.
Yeah. But what's funny is that it was written at a time in Beethoven's life that was monumental. I mean, he was going through a period of turmoil because he was becoming deaf, and
I think it was like 3 years into his hearing loss happening.
And it was right around the time that he wrote his famous letter, the Heiligenstadt Testament, basically writing in sorrow about his hearing loss and just going through a real hard time. But the symphony, like you listen to it and you wouldn't guess.
It's so charming.
It is.
It's so happy.
It's almost like he's defying the fate that is awaiting him in a way.
I see what you're doing, tying back to the first piece.
That's right.
No, but it's true. It's probably the happiest of Beethoven's symphonies.
Yeah.
I mean, people throw around the word sunny a lot, and I would agree.
Yeah.
And I think for me, the reason I find it so charming is you can tell he's making a lot of musical jokes.
Yeah.
And we know that we know that this is a thing he does. Like the 8th Symphony is famous for being like his joke symphony, right? So, but even in this one, it goes as far back as the 2nd Symphony. It was just kind of he's defying so many expectations. It's like the kids, the social media trend these days that people do, like wrong answers only.
Yeah.
That Beethoven was doing it in 1802.
The wrong answers only symphony edition.
Yeah, no, but seriously, like the accents at the wrong part of the phrase, long decrescendo into nothing, only to come back and shock you with a really big orchestral fortissimo. It's kind of like sometimes how we forget our grandparents were young people once. It's like we forget that Beethoven at one point was young and charming and probably so full of life.
Yeah.
Let this be a reflection of who he was in his younger days.
Yeah.
It's the forgotten 2nd Symphony that we don't get to play as much, but I think we really should do it more. It's just so charming.
The audience is in for a treat. We're in for a treat. It's going to be a fantastic concert, and we are very much looking forward to it. Thank you for listening to this pre-concert chat. We'd like to thank Winwood for Music for sponsoring tonight's concert. Enjoy it. It's going to be awesome. We'll see you there.